How did Schall Consulting do in 2021? For those that only know me as a content creator, shame on you. Well, I guess shame on me for not better explaining who I am and what I actually do for a living. I certainly don't make money creating content. On the contrary, it actually costs me a shit ton of money in opportunity costs annually. But don't worry, I'm not going to be quitting anytime soon. The variety of business strategy content does serve as a great content marketing tool for my consulting company, Schall Consulting. 2022 will actually mark a huge milestone. This will be the 10th anniversary of creating Schall Consulting. And within the last almost decade, I successfully built my boutique consulting company into a world renowned leader in growth strategies for clients that are positioned inside the emerging and intersecting categories of functional food, functional beverages, and nutritional supplements. These CPG clients range in size from pre launch to billion-dollar companies. They are also not always kind of traditional consumer brands, as 2021 brought even more diversity in projects, with one third of all projects being on the supply side of the industry. These range from contract manufacturers to ingredient suppliers to agricultural technology companies to flavor companies and kind of everything in between. My project focal points range throughout the full entrepreneurial ideation to commercialization cycle, with very few areas being outside of what I would consider my wheelhouse. Before I get started with some kind of recap statistics on both Schall Consulting and my personal brand content creation, I would like to kind of thank everybody for making this my most impactful year ever. I know I kind of said that last year as well, but we really built on the momentum, and that snowball that's rolling down the hill is growing in size, which kind of really makes me proud and I'm excited for the future. For those that did trust me by giving me some of your attention, I'm humbled. And I don't take that for granted that you've given me some of your attention, some of your time, because I know the caliber of person that consumes my content regularly. And that time that you give me, I know is extremely valuable. So I have a huge kind of standard to live up to every single piece of content. And for those that kind of took it a step further and not only consumed, but implemented something from my content into your business that was successful, you owe me dinner kind of at the next trade show we are both at. I'm kind of kidding, but maybe I'm not kidding. You probably should buy me dinner. But I do want to thank all of the people that messaged me privately, also saying something like, XYZ piece of content really helped you in 2021. And for my clients, we anticipated that 2021 wasn't going to be easy, but everybody kept a positive, agile mindset. You trusted me, and I can't thank you enough for being a major part of my successful year. If you can find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere, right? So let's kind of talk about a little obstacle that I had to overcome in 2021. I was kind of quote unquote homeless for much of 2021. I decided to build a custom home outside of Houston, Texas, which was both an amazing and stressful experience. That decision was made even more stressful because instead of getting an extension on the lease for 6 months in the downtown Austin apartment that I was living in, I chose the digital nomad route. I traveled to a handful of domestic and international cities while staying in Airbnbs and also kind of keeping up with my crazy workload. I talked about this experience in depth within a piece of content. If you want to check that one out, I'll make it easy for you and just kind of pop it up right here for you guys right there. But I do want to run through how I did on my 2021 goals. First goal that I had was get an invitation to a high quality brands board of directors. I failed on that one. I did not get that invitation. Secondly, I wanted to start a new business. Now, I failed at that one as well, though I did secure the website, social handles, and completed some of the brand development. More on this in 2022. It has to do with kind of some of the content creation, personal brand side of my world. Thirdly, I wanted to break 2020's record revenue for Schall Consulting. That was achieved. I had a goal of more quality while also sustaining the quantity of original content creation. And I half achieved this, I guess, because I definitely did increase, at least in my opinion, the quality of my content, but I did slip a little bit in the overall quantity. And then finally, I wanted to take another giant step towards a stealthy 5 year goal, which was achieved, which I still won't tell you guys what that is. I just want to kind of run through some of the stats on Schall Consulting. I was this year more intentional in throttling down my total number of clients compared to 2020. This led to a 31% year over year reduction in total clients. Clients were in 4 countries this year. Most of them, again, were in the USA and some in Canada. On the brand side, I had clients positioned inside food, beverage, and nutritional supplements markets, mostly functional and value added categories. That's kind of where I focus at. As I mentioned earlier, I also worked with a record number of supply side businesses in 2021. My largest collection of clients was still what I would consider inside the supplement industry, even though most of those brands or companies also sell or make functional foods or functional beverages. I continued my streak of now 20 straight quarters with accumulated client portfolio revenues of $1 billion dollars plus. I now have a streak of 17 straight quarters with at least one client that is growing 300% year over year. I have 5 straight years with a large client exit. And I also finished again with 100% of my clients growing in 2021. Now, shifting to some stats around content creation and personal branding, as I create more original content, like I mentioned before, it becomes the reason why more people know me. I'll often hear at trade shows or maybe conferences, hey, you're the guy that creates all of that content on LinkedIn or YouTube. I follow you there. I love what you do. And that makes me feel extremely good, but I still don't consider myself a content creator, though I recognize its growing importance in my life. I've always lived by the simple belief that a person should leave any space they inhabit or any person that they meet better than when they arrive. I know I still have a ton of work to do in this kind of quest, and don't get me wrong, Schall Consulting will continue to be my number one focus, but I recognize that the content provides a quicker opportunity to kind of get to that, leave the industry better than where I found it, then kind of going one on one through clients through my management strategy consulting services. So, some of these kind of highlights that I had as a content creator or kind of my personal brand in 2021 include that I did launch a personal branding website, joshuaschall.com. If you haven't checked that out, please do it. It will become my content hub in the near future. I again met hundreds of new people through email, phone, social media, trade shows, conferences, client visits. I also had a chance to get back to live in person public speaking at the 2021 Supply Side West show. Additionally, I spoke digitally at 7 more conferences throughout the year, kind of webinars, including 2 that I was the special keynote speaker. I wrote, directed, filmed, and edited over 100 YouTube videos for the 3rd straight year. It's exhausting. Please don't pick up YouTube. It really is exhausting. I slacked on my original long form articles comparable to previous years. A lot of that has to do with my focus on YouTube, but it's definitely a goal that I want to get back to 2022 to kind of more weekly contributions. All in all, if you count all of these social media platforms, I can say with complete confidence that I posted more professional daily content than I have in all of my previous years. I'm not sure when that level of output will be impossible to beat from a year over year perspective, but I have no plans of kind of ever deploying ghostwriters like some of those famous business content creators you follow. If you know, you know. But what is next in 2022? I changed up my goal setting this year, expanding from the typical 3 categories that I normally have, which were professional, personal, and learning, into 5 categories, which is now mind, body, relationships, community, business, and then adventure. I won't go into a ton of detail this year around these goals, but I will note that a lot more emphasis will be placed on my mental and physical health. I recognize that 2020 and 2021 were an absolute grind for me. My mind and body took a hell of a beating. And it's time for a bit of rebalancing of priorities, as I have likely another 30 plus years of strong output that I'd like to have the capacity for with the right mind and body strength to handle it. If you enjoyed this YouTube video, hit that like button to support me. Also, help me get to my short term goal of 2,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to see you join me on this journey. It'd be great for you guys to engage a little bit more on these videos. But we need to fix the fact that more than 70% of you watching this right now aren't subscribed to my channel. And that makes me really sad. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.